So what is Childfree Wealth? I'm Dr. J. I'm the founder of Childfree Wealth, and I started it back in 2021 as a way to look at how finances are different when you will never have kids. And just for clarity, when I say Childfree Wealth, that's because I couldn't say people who don't have kids and don't plan on having kids wealth. Like, it's too long. Really what we're talking about is when you decided, or it's been decided for you, that you'll never have kids, it's not part of your life or financial plan, that's when we kick in. We've worked on terms for quite a while, whether it's child-free, permanently childless. You get to pick which terms fit you. But the bottom line is we've served people who will never have kids. If you're listening to this and you may have kids in the future, you might be better off following a standard financial plan. If, on the other hand, you've decided, yep, this is my future, we're happy to help you. We still do have a few parents as clients, but realistically, there is a planner that serves people that are specialized in what you do or what your life is. If you're a parent, go to them. One of my colleagues runs a firm called The Wealthy Parent. Awesome. That's not us. We are dedicated to serving people who never have kids. I had a client the other day ask me, is it really that much difference? Whew. Wow. Loaded question. And I'll tell you, over the years, I've spent a lot of time talking to financial planners about child-free people and talking to child-free people about their finances. And the list of things it changes is just huge. I once tried to make a list for financial planners, and it was like the top 15 things that being child-free changed in your plan. And I just kept on going after 15. So it does change a lot. Childfree Wealth itself is a SEC registered investment advisory firm. That doesn't mean we have a specific level of training. That just means we are registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and that we can serve people across the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., sorry, can't help you, just kind of the way the rules work. We provide life planning, financial planning, tax planning, estate planning for people who will never have kids. And let me kind of walk through each of those. Life planning is where we spend quite a bit of time with our clients. My background, my PhD is in adult learning. I come out of the behavioral side of finance. And really, we're trying to figure out what life do you want to live and how does that impact your finances? There's just kind of the standard script to life, or the life script as we call it, that says you go to school, you get married, you have kids, blah, 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 blah. And we're not following that. So since we're not following that, you need to figure out what do you want to do with your life? You'll hear me ask a lot of times, what do you want to be when you grow up? It has nothing to do with age, but what do you want to do? Because we're child-free, the way we say it is you're living a life of child-free wealth means you have time, money, and freedom to do what you enjoy. It doesn't automatically make you rich. It's not like there's checks that fall from the sky that are like, ooh, now I have lots of money. No, we have people that are struggling and people that are doing well, but it does allow a lot more flexibility. So you need to think about what your life is. So when we do life planning, we'll dive into what matters to you. What do you want your impact to be? What do you want your life to look like? If you're like me, I'm mid-40s. What's the next 40 years of your life look like? Do you want to leave money to the next generation? Do you want to change careers? Do you want to open a business? Do you want to retire? Do you want to follow what we call FILE? All of these decisions impact your financial plan. Once we have your life plan in place, we'll work on finances. And finances in our world, we're trying to always make your finances simple so your life can be amazing. So we're not talking about fancy stuff. We do offer investment management. We are a flat fee-only fiduciary, which is a whole lot of fancy words that really just means we charge a flat amount per year. You are the only ones that pay us. We don't get paid commissions to sell products to you or anything like that. And we're a fiduciary, which means we have to put your interest ahead of our own. We do that because if you go to a firm that is charges a percentage of assets called assets under management, they may have a built-in conflict because most child-free people want to die with zero. They don't really have a goal of passing on money to the next generation. So we had to adopt a flat fee model in order to get away from that conflict. Because if you're charging 1% of your assets, as is common in the market, their goal as your planner is always for your assets to go up. Your goal as a child-free person might be the opposite. There's a conflict. When we get to financial planning, we're talking about investments. We do we do investment management. We actually keep the investments at Altruist. We'll do the investing for you. We don't charge more based on the investments. And also, if you want, we can offer advice only, which means we look over your shoulders to do investments. We prefer investment management because it's easier on both us and the client. You want to keep it at your favorite broker? Fine by us. But we're talking about investments. We're talking about insurance. We're talking about what is your plan for your parents? What is your plan for long-term care? How are you going to save towards your goals? Your goal might be to retire, might not. It might be to buy a house, it might not. How do we make sure your plan directly follows you? We usually meet with clients on a monthly basis the first year, and then it kind of kicks back to a little more quarterly. But then with our child-free clients, often we'll find like something weird happens in their life. Oh, hey, I got offered a job in another country, or like moving across country, or whatever it is. And we'll redo the financial plan and redo the assumptions and work through it to be there to see the impact on both your life and finances. Once we get your life and finances in place, we'll start working on things like your estate plan, your tax plan. Tax plan, hey, everybody's got to pay taxes. We're not going to get child tax credits. That's a fine deal by me. Like, it's like a $3,600 credit, and it costs you like $18,000 a year to have a kid. Math doesn't work. But how do we make sure you pay the right taxes at the right time, which ends up in a lower tax burden across your life? So that's part of tax planning. Investments can be really simple. We follow a simple, passive, long-term investment strategy, but taxes can be a real challenge, especially if you're going to live in different states across your life, or you're going to have different phases of your life. It just gets complex, and I'll be honest with you, it changes every year. Like, it's really a challenge, even for us, to keep track of all this tax law, so I don't expect our clients to know that. We also work on estate planning. As a child-free person, you must have an estate plan. That includes your will, your medical power of attorney, your financial power of attorney. You know, who's going to make decisions for you when you can't, either because you've died or you're disabled? We need to have a plan for that. We also have some solutions to help you through that, figure out how do you find the right person to take care of that for you, or we may be able to help with you with that. But you need a plan now, because the healthcare systems, the government systems, all assume you have a next of kin, and they'll default to that. If you happen to be a soloist, it's challenged because you don't even have a spouse as the first round. Or if you're in a couple but not married, you need to make sure you have the paperwork so your spouse can do it. Like, we got to make sure we're doing the paperwork. Now, we're not lawyers. We're not filling the paperwork for you, but we're helping to answer the hard questions around it. So when we get done, we end up with a life plan, a financial plan, a tax plan, an estate plan. And it's kind of like a first draft, because our child-free people, plans change all the time. That's why our product, we call it the 365, we provide service all across the year, because as your life changes, your plan needs to change. We're there for you. Pretty much, figure out whatever has got a number on it and call us. You don't Google anymore. If you're one of our clients, you email us, because now you have professionals that understand you. I will challenge you. Go look at other planners too. Be sure to ask them how your plan is different because you're child free. You be amazed by the answer. Usually the first answer you get is, well, you'll change your mind. Like, okay, don't get me started on that one. Like, yeah, don't get me started. The second answer you get is, oh, it's not different. Yeah, that's just wrong. The third answer you might get is, I don't know. And that's okay. Like, I'm actually okay if the planner says, I don't know, because then they can learn. The difference for us and Childfree Wealth is we know you. I've dealt with people like you. And within the child-free population, you're probably pretty normal. Within the general population in financial planning, we're all a little different. My first research question was, are we weird? My wife and I are pretty weird in the general population. But within child-free people, we're not. And that's part of what it is we know and get you, and that's who we serve.